All right. Good afternoon. This is the live stream. We're tracking again today, just trying to get things going. We're still doing some tests. This is a private clip. I'm still just putting this on my private YouTube channel, and we'll be figuring this out as we go along. We're going to get John here in just a minute. I'm going to unmute that window. I'm fantastic. I'm recording the live stream, and I'm trying some different audio things today. Also, I'm sharing our document that we're doing that in the live stream, but it's not being broadcast to everybody, just for me and John to know that we're tracking. We're trying to make sure we get the audio correct. We've been having some issues with getting the browsers and the audio and everything all connected together and working. So just a couple issues. We're still working through that. You guys are watching us do this live in real time. Well, you got to join first. I don't yeah, I don't see you here. I can't add you yet. Here, I'm gonna send you a new one, so it's okay. Yeah. Well, I think like anything, that's how it goes. It starts with some challenges, and then you learn, and then you realize, oh, I thought that was everything, and then it turns out to be that's just the tip of the iceberg, and then you find everything else that's a problem, and then you overcome. It takes time to get there. Uh, I think that's pretty true for about anything. So that's why. By the way, for those who are um, wondering, kind of our plan is to get do this about 100 times, and then go back and figure out what worked really well, what didn't work so well. So we're still in the kind of that proof of concept phase. If you know how development activities work, we're still just proving it. I mean, this is season 2, episode 39, which means we did 30 of episode 1. Now we're doing 39. So we've done 69 shows, and that's cool. But we're still not perfect. We still have a long way to go. But anyway, both John and I are on the stream now, and that's fantastic. And the audio seems to be good today. So hopefully we'll get that all squared away. That's my hope.
Yes, and I came up with a theme song. You interested in
Oh.
hearing the theme song?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's go.
Okay. Andy and John's AI Business Hour. Oh, Andy and John's AI Hour of Power.
All right, we're gonna have to work on the production quality, but yeah, I like it.
I figure we gotta
Oh, that's awesome, John.
make it fun. So I'd like to hear if anybody appreciates that one.
We got lots of thumbs up and happy face, so I think
excellent. Yeah, it's the middle of the day. Everybody wants to lighten up their experience, so it's always good. Shall we go through the news stories? And actually, what I did today was I added another section. So we got news of what's going on with AI in business, and then I added a thing, AI in terms of how it affects society a little bit. So I thought that's something we could talk about
Yeah,
if
let's give
you're
it
up
a
for
shot.
it.
Let's go for it and see what we think. And if anybody wants to join, go ahead and grab the mic, make a request, and grab the mic. And we love it. It really, if you guys just want to hear John and I chit chatting and stuff, we can do that all the time. But it's really way more valuable if we have all of you guys add stuff to it, because we only have limited knowledge, as everybody knows. Uh, but we love to hear all the new and cool and amazing things. And by the way, next week, Apple's coming out with something new. I've been chatting with Scoble on the backside, trying to figure out what that is. He thinks it's going to be kind of like an Alexa device, but a Apple Home device, where it's going to say, it'll talk to you with Apple, what they call it, Apple Intelligence. I don't know, but that device from the Amazon thing, it used to be really cool. Now you might as well just ask it to confirm your calculations and turn on the lights and check the weather. Otherwise, it doesn't really have a lot of utility, but to me. But anyway, so we'll see. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, I think Alexa looks like ancient technology now. It's compared to what these new bots are doing with their personality and their ability to converse so quickly. And Alexis just seems robotic.
Yep.
But
I did yesterday. I did go down a rabbit hole comparing DeepSeek, Claude, and ChatGPT. And I basically asked it this kind of question. I said, in the next 6 months to a year, anticipate what one of these things is going to be the most likely big move in AI. A smaller model, in other words, one that does the same amount of work but is in a smaller compact space, like could run off a USB drive, or a smaller or a model that could run off older hardware. In other words, if you've got an old MacBook or an old laptop sitting around, you can drop it on that and have it do some of these things. Or that a faster model, or one that has more context or bigger windows. I asked all the kind of general things, and the one it said that was most likely, in fact, all of the models, the one they said that was most likely was to have a model that was functional but operated on older hardware. And that's what all of the LLMs said would be the most likely winner. So in other words, right now, the ChatGPT, all these other models, they take huge amounts of power. I mean, massive amounts of power just to get an answer. And so I was curious. So what they're basically saying is that it's going to be they're going to create a more efficient model that will run on something that's less than a giant GPU chip. We're still going to need, the ChatGPTs and the DeepSeeks and the whatever else is, coming next. But to do kind of off-site, out of internet, local kind of processing, some of these things are going to be able to do that. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting concept. We'll see if they're right or wrong in the future. Who knows?
yeah, that was one of the news stories actually, is about the saving of energies. So shall we get into it?
Yes.
So
Go for it.
today is Thursday, February 13th, 1925 here.
19.
I'm sorry,
2025.
2025. You've now hit we've jumped the time loop paradigm. So we're back in time for a millisecond. Now we're back in 2025. So OpenAI simplifies AIP lineup. And if you go to my profile or Andy's, I posted this on a Google Doc, so you can grab this and take a look at it. It has a links to everything we talk about, and it's a nice thing to check out each day. I share a Google Doc, and I put all the news stories in with the links to the companies and whatnot. So OpenAI, what they do, OpenAI has decided to merge its various AI models into a single, more powerful model, GTP5, to streamline its offerings. It reduces complexities for users, simplifies integration for developers, which is great, and potentially improves performance across different applications. One thing that's really exciting is now that I've been working with tech in schools and I'm able to build my own apps, you can go on today, you can go on GitHub, I found out, and you can search for forks, or in other words, codes that people have developed, and you can say, I want to something that uses chat GDP or what have you. So you can build apps through forks or programs that people have already developed. I'm new to this. If there's anybody who's listening who's done this, I would love to hear from you, because that's super exciting. Impact on businesses. Chat GPT number 5 simplifies AI tool adoption, making it easier to implement AI solutions without deep technical knowledge. That's me here. For solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, easier access to cutting edge AI without needing to keep up with multiple models or updates. That's a key, because if you create a tool and there's an update, you often will have to go back and then tweak your stuff. Otherwise, it can break your tool and not make it not work. Mid to small business owners can leverage advanced AI capabilities with less overhead in training or management. That's great for consultants, for businesses. And why it matters, this move could set a precedent for how AI companies manage product complexities, making AI more accessible and efficient for businesses of all sizes. And the future implications, this could lead to more unified AI market with fewer but more versatile AI models dominate, potentially reducing innovation in niche AI applications. That has big, profound implications there. Any thoughts, Andy?
Well, yeah, if you can simplify the offer, and in other words, if you simplify the tool and it creates better value, that's always a win, always. And so I think it's critical for us to be successful by giving more value.
We lost
to
you there
else.
can anybody else hear Andy, or is it just me?
Wait,
did I get a thumbs up or thumbs? So
looks like I somehow kicked myself from the space.
Oh, okay.
I think you can hear me on the.
I guess Andy
nobody
got
can
pulled.
hear. I think I kicked myself off the space.
He doesn't quite.
We're still talking on the live
stream. That's the X factor.
Yeah, you got to re-add me as a co-host. Sorry,
So no one's hearing Andy, I take it. Oh, there's Andy. He's back. So let me get him back up to the host, the co-host here. Apologies for this little interruption, but thank you for everybody being so understanding. We all kind of have been through this before. And Harsh or Rick, or how do you pronounce your name? Let's see. Andy's back in the co-host seat. Andy, how are you? Can you hear us again?
Yeah, I think that was my fault. I changed tabs and I think it reloaded the tab, which of course kicked me out of the space. So sorry about that. My bad. That was my fault.
No worries. So, but and also Harsh or Richard or I forgot your name. If you want, anybody wants to chime into any of these stories, please.
What I was going to say is that every time you simplify the model and you provide more value, that's a benefit to everybody. And I think that every time we do that, it's going to increase the utility of these type of tools for all businesses. And the more utility you add, of course, the more value you add, the more people pay for it. So yeah, I think it's a benefit all the way around.
Absolutely. And also please repost this and share it with everybody that you know. We'd like to get as many people here as possible. This is we're building a community. I see the same faces here, and it's just nice to have routines. We all love our routines, and I don't know if you're working or you're driving or you're at home or you're a coder or you're looking to be a coder, you're just interested in AI. I don't know what's going on with each and everyone here, but you know, it's nice. I work out of my house. I've been working remotely for, I don't know, 15 years, and it's nice to get to know people outside of my four walls. So that's one of the reasons why I appreciate this space. I don't know what everybody else's story, but we all have our own. So the next one is Snowflake integrates Claude into databases. I have never used Snowflake. I don't know if anyone here has. Snowflake has integrated Anthropic's AI model Claude directly into its data cloud, allowing for real-time AI analysis within their database environment. The problem it solves, it eliminates the need to move data out of secure environments for AI systems, reduces latency, and enhances data privacy, which is huge, and it's going to be huger. This impact on business owners, it enhances data-driven decision-making with AI directly on their data platforms. For solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, it enables quick insights from data without extensive AI infrastructure. That's great. And to mid and small businesses, affords access to high-level AI analytics without the need for large IT teams. That's a big deal. Why this matters, this integration exemplifies the trend towards AI becoming an intricate part of business software, enhancing security and efficiency, which is big in terms of mid to small businesses implementing AI into their workflows. Future implications, it might push other database providers to integrate AI, leading to a new standard in data management where AI is the core component. That, I believe, would reduce energy costs and make it more efficient. Any thoughts on that, Andy?
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday, where the interface piece and Snowflake is like a data lake and helps with infrastructure data being sent back and forth between systems, and has its own kind of storage thing, which they call a data cloud. Allowing AI directly into that mold is super helpful, because then that will, like you said, it'll allow them to apply the AI tools directly to the data set that they already have without having to extract it and do something else. One of the biggest problems we have in the kind of enterprise technology world is you have to either go access the live data, which just is kind of against all general principles. What you want to do is extract the data you need, put it into a different system, analyze it, produce your results or reports, and then don't worry about that data. Get the new set and either override it or create a layered effect. And so you never want to connect directly to the live data itself, unless the system that has the live data has all this kind of embedded into it. So I think it's got a massive benefit, but it also has some, like everything, has some inherent risk to it. So we'll see how it actually works. I think what they're really trying to do is say, we're better than all the other offerings because we have this this part embedded into our solution. And therefore, you don't have to buy multiple things. You can get it all in one-stop shop. Kind of the same thing we we're talking about before with it simplifies, it adds more utility and adds more value. They're just doing it. Look, we're going to see this same kind of story in every single kind of activity you can imagine. The DMV is going to say that they've got AI connected to their DMV database so that they can get your stuff done faster. Whatever, your smoke detector company is going to say, we've integrated. I mean, every single company in the world is going to come out with an AI press release. Just watch. Between now and August, it's just going to be a cavalcade of people saying, we've got AI embedded into our system. Yeah, okay, whatever. We'll see.
Well, the shareholders and the people that use it as a service would be disappointed if they didn't.
True, but it's going to become kind of passe. It's kind of like saying, hey, you know what? If you get our tool, we have embedded spell check. Everyone's like, yeah, everybody's got spell check. Sounds good at first, but now it's going to be just ubiquitous.
Absolutely. Now, Wojciech, you got your hand up. Would you like to add to the conversation? And please tell me how to pronounce your name. Yeah, yeah. I saw a guy. He took a camera, and he used, I think it was DeepSeek, and he made it so it would recognize his car and all of the cars of his friends, and he put, it was looking at his driveway, and it would alert him, and it would kind of tell who was coming over to the house and whether it was a car that they knew or not. So, I mean, if you have programming skills, and I think you're going to need less programming skills as we move forward, just creativity. But if they're accessible, or if you have the money for entry, you can then take these things and add them and create your own personalized features that you want with them, which is interesting. That
Well,
that's
I
it.
think there's gonna be yeah, first of all, I agree with you that you have to continue to optimize. But as you optimize through the the chain of events to do any particular activity in computing, there's always a sequence of activities that happen. Most people think when you click on, I'll just give you a very simple example. When you click on X and you say, I'm going to connect to John's space, that's all there is. But in reality, every time you open it, it confirms your location identity, your cell phone coverage, your device, your ID, your name, your current status, and whether or not you're able to do that or not. And then when you click on a space, when John starts a space, it creates a storage area, a set of CPU and cache, a number of activities that happen. It creates the recording, it creates and connects all of those things together and a large number of other subroutines that happen before the space even begins. And then once the space begins, as each one of us try to engage to the space, there's got to be some kind of processing unit that says, this person is allowed to be in these kind of spaces, and it's going to show this picture and this name and this icon, and it's going to identify them in either host, co-host, listener, or speaker category. All of those things are happening in a sequential way because computers are only sequential. They just happen to have like 64 lanes that they can process simultaneously, but they're still just processing one at a time. But all of that happens like magic to us. We push a button, connect to the space, bam, I can start hearing. Because in addition to that, it's also absorbing the audio, processing the audio, sending the audio out to each one of your devices and not every other device that's connected. There's a very large infrastructure of activities that happen on a consistent basis just so we can talk. And frankly, it's awesome and remarkable. But to Wojcik's point, every one of those little LLMs, every one of those steps is going to have some kind of optimization to it so that it can process only the steps it needs and not all the other ones. And so you just do that over and over and over again. And every single step in that chain of events, in order for us to have a space and talk, that's all being processed by this amazing amount of activities that we have going on. It's very cool, but it also means somebody manually typed in all that stuff to start with and connected it together, tested it, made it work, and then used it to replicate itself over and over and over again. What we're saying with AI is that you can say, I want it to do this thing, and it will take all the code that other people wrote in the past and say, it worked for that, it'll work for this, let me put it together, and let me do my own interrogation, grammar checks, and audit checks and everything else, and then say, this is the code that probably works. And then you turn it on and it does. That's what AI Tutor is doing. And so we're getting the benefit of all of those hundreds of thousands, if not millions of hours of effort done in the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get to the things where we are today. And then we're going to optimize those things and take and add more to the things that work and remove all of the steps that don't work or don't need to be there. Yeah, go ahead, Woj. Agree. Yeah, as long as you can maintain the context window so that it can iterate within its own knowledge cache. But as soon as you go beyond the context window, then it forgets the past. It has to re-enable that. So as long as it's within the context window, think of it like a conversation. I say something, I think, you say something, you disagree. Okay, cool. I can continue with the conversation. The models do that internally. But the problem is at some point they forget.
Well,
And
you know,
we call that hallucination. Yeah. And it
one thing with my AI tutor, which is mind blowing, is you can be working with one like Chat GDP, Chat G PT. I'm sorry, it's dyslexic, and then switch it over to Claude, and it will remember your whole. You don't have to re-put in anything, and so you can
by the way, the reason that works is because inside a browser, there is a concept called a session. And the session basically is your local computer maintains the cache of the questions and answers and the inputs and outputs from that browser session. So it's a combination of the LLM processing the things you say, but your browser actually and your local computer maintaining some amount of that information. So it's both together. So it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, but the amount of information can be quite big. I mean, I was coding and just, throwing gobs and gobs of data in there, and it's it's pretty it's doing things that it could not have done just a month ago. And walk, what's your background? I see that you say you're into
Call
skydiving
him
and
Woj. Woj
Woj,
works.
Woj, Woj.
Yeah, Woj. Woj. All right. Yeah, well, true. Well, yeah, one thing for just to help everyone, bring you back for those who don't know, um, the model, if you go to ChatGPT and it's the free version, the context window is like 2,000 to 4,000 tokens, which is, think of it as a syllable, right? So so it's a natural language processing model. It's a syllable, every token. So 2,000 syllables it will process. When you pay for the $20 version, it gives you up to like 4 to 7,000 tokens, right? But with the AI tutor, it's in the 10, 20, 30, 50,000 token area context windows. And so allowing you to do more and iterate multiple times within the context of that discussion. So those are those are some of the things that are going on, and that's why the AI tutor model is superior to all the other ones, because it just gives you more capabilities. You can change the models. It maintains the stasis. It maintains the session variables that are going on, and allows you to just basically do that 10 times or 100 times more than you could with just one model like a chat gpt or llama or claude or whatever.
It,
Yeah. Yeah, a couple chapters. Yeah, what okay, so one of the first thing that I sorry, John, for just a sec. But one of the first things I did was create a custom GPT to review vendor contracts. And the crazy thing is the the instructions are, like I said, syllables by syllable. When I said read this, it just took in one token to say PDF. And then it expanded at the context window within its parameters to review the whole contract. So still kind of it's you have to understand how it works in order to be able to go back to what can you do with this. So anyway, I always think it's kind of gone down the geek trail for a moment there, but yeah. Woj, what one more thing, and then we'll go back to the news. Okay, let's go to the news, John.
okay, okie dokie. So, Pinkfish AI for enterprise solutions. Pinkfish, they don't have a website, or it's not provided. Focuses on helping enterprise build custom AI solutions tailored to their business needs, specific business needs. The custom AI solutions for unique business challenges, from supply chain management to customer interaction, how this might impact business owners, offers bespoke AI solutions that can directly address core business issues for solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, less applicable due to scale. So this is mainly for large companies and small businesses might find specialized AI services too costly. So it's really only meaningful to big brands. Why it matters: customization is key in many industries, and Pinkfish's model could lead to more efficient AI deployment. The implications for the future: this could spur a market of bespoke AI where large enterprises demand and pay for highly specialized AI services. So it sounds like that they will go down the rabbit hole with your big company and tailor the AI for whatever their needs are. Is that about right in your estimation, Andy?
Yeah, I think no matter what happens, everywhere there can be optimization, AI is going to be used as the primary hammer to fix that problem. So optimization is the nail, and AI LLMs is the optimization hammer. And that's why I said earlier, you're going to see that hammer used on everything, because everything can be helped. Yeah, everything can be optimized.
Woj, do you work?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
think it is. I heard stories where it's actually. I mean, we all know that by programming itself or using its own abilities, that it's decreased the energy used and the time and the space and all that.
yeah. Well, that's what DeepSeek is, right? DeepSeek basically well, nobody's admitted it yet, but the conjecture, it means we're guessing. The guessing is they took one of the OpenAI models in the past, and then they applied it into their hardware environment, and then they did their own training on it, and then they called it something different. So that and I think that's just going to replicate itself, right? Someone's going to download the latest version of, OpenAI's version 03 mini, take that and optimize it into, whatever's next. The problem is that barrier to entry to this kind of a business model is pretty high. You have to buy a bunch of chips. You got to build a data center. You got to have a lot of money to buy the stuff, to put it together, to focus it, and you need the expertise that none of the people that we've talked to, or none of the people who've come on the show, or even hardly anybody on any of the other AI spaces that I've found has said, except for maybe Umesh, who said, I'm a researcher, and here is what we're doing on the training side, and here's how we're building stuff, and here's the problems that we're facing, and here's how we're going about fixing it. I haven't really heard a lot of I mean, I've read the papers, but I haven't really seen or heard anybody say, yeah, Andy, the context window's the problem, and here's why, and here's what we're doing, and here's how we're dealing with it. No one's really said that. I mean, there was one guy who came on who talked about that in the past, but I haven't seen him. I'm going to reach out to him today and see if he can come on tomorrow or something on Valentine's Day and give us some little heartfelt updates. But I think that we're going to take these models that are available to us, like like Ross provides in the AI tutor, which, by the way, we love the AI tutor model, right? Someone's going to grab one of those models, put it on a machine, and then start optimizing it for a very specific purpose. Even if it's less capable in every way, maybe it becomes super capable for bookkeeping, or super capable for managing, I don't know, like federal employee retirement funds, that they're using tricycles to ride through a giant freaking mine and pull boxes of paper to do a manual calculation. Come on, seriously.
Well, can I interrupt you for 1 minute?
Yes, please,
Hopefully, and I do pray. I wake up in the morning and pray that one of the legacies that Eon's going to leave is that he is going to create something like that for the federal government that will be accessible and transparent by all the citizens. I mean, have you gone to the Doge website? It's really amazing. You can drill down now into every branch and see what the average income is of each branch, or the cabinet, and then the various. It's amazing.
The growth variance is the one that is the most fascinating to me. In 2019, it was this. In 20, it was this. In 24, it's now this. It's like, how did how did it just grow? If your business value, right? So everything has a business value, that's fine. But if the value of the, let's say the customer base is the same, why did the budget grow? If the functionality you're providing is the same value and you just have 20,000 more users instead of, if you have 1 million users and you go to 1,020,000 users, why does the budget go up 8%? Why does budget go up 22% in 5 years? That's the stuff that makes me crazy, because I've been doing public service projects for 20 years. And I can tell you the only reason is because someone is charging more money on the front end or whatever. But again, it's still a fascinating thing. Obviously, software has to be improved, obviously, right? I'm not saying that isn't true. Hardware has to be updated, software has to be updated, but the basic functionality is pretty much the same. The additional capabilities are what's added to it. In other words, the database stores stuff. It can report on and extract things. But then you take that extraction and you add, can I project these things or project those things, or can I anticipate these other activities? All of that extra work is where all the additional cost comes from. So if you're running a business, or you're thinking about running a business or whatever, always go back to the basics. What is the purpose of this thing? And if you're going to add cost to a computer system, it better benefit you by giving you an equal return. Otherwise, you're just spending money to have some cool shiny toy.
No business that is truly a business on their own can afford to do anything but spend money and get a return on it. Otherwise, you're toast. So
you'd be surprised. You'd be shocked at the number of business owners that I talk to or work with, and they want some new cool thing because they heard some new cool. I'm like, well, okay, but how does that add to either your overall profit, your overall cash flow, or your overall value? If it doesn't add to your overall value or your cash flow, well, really?
Well,
why
I guess, if you have a certain scale, you can then do pet projects without
but
destroying
you know
things.
what? Here's the dirty little secret about consulting. Most of the time, they sell you on the idea of some enhanced capability for some future benefit, both an enhanced capability you don't have for a future benefit you don't have yet. And that's what most people sell. What you should sell is here is a current problem that costs X number of dollars to solve. And if you implement this new thing, this additional capability, the cost to solve that problem will decrease. That's what you should sell. If you're a consultant, you should say, if you hire me, I will save you millions of dollars, because if without me, you will have to spend them because you won't know the difference. But with me, I'll save you, right? That's the sell that works, not the other way around.
Well, and also in some corporate, I mean, they have a line item, they have a amount of money that needs to be spent on a specific problem every year.
By the way, that's a dumb business model. But what? Anyway.
Okay. Whoa.
I got 15 minutes left. Let's
so we do. You want? All right. So another story. Okay. So Eric. Here, this is an interesting one. Yeah, okay. Eric Schmidt. We all know who Eric Schmidt is.
Yes.
Right. So
former Google dude.
Yeah, the guy. He's kind of like the dude who shows up and says the worst thing ever that's going to happen. But he also made some really cool predictions, which I agree with. He warns of AI misuse. Wow, that's a stretch. Somebody's going to use a tool poorly. And this is from the BBC. Eric Schmidt discusses the potential for AI to be misused by harmful actors. All right, problem solved. Raises awareness about AI security and ethic use. For business owners, encourage investment in secure AI practices. This might deter some people from using AI without understanding security implications, and pushes for education and possibly more cautious adoption of AI technology. security in AI is becoming as critical as the technology itself, influencing trust and regulatory framework. It could lead to stricter AI regulations. Now, every company has an IT guy who's one of his main jobs is to make sure that all the company information doesn't get sucked out into the internet and used by horrible bad actors.
Right.
AI adds another level of difficulty to their job. And you can have an IT guy that understands networking that doesn't have a clue about what an AI can do, or a series of bad AI actors. You need to kind of specifically know and understand how AI works to fight against it. Am I wrong?
Well, okay, so the person you're talking about is usually called the Chief Security Officer, CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, CISO. And those guys, their job is to make sure that the data coming in and the data going out is tracked, monitored, and audited and controlled, including when you send your data outside of your system to a third-party tool like ChatGPT, and then have it do some processing and return some answer. Well, while it's in the ChatGPT box and doing its processing, ChatGPT has access to your data. And so these are the kind of things they're concerned about, which is why, going back, I was saying a local LLM that is specifically focused for you or for your company is going to be a very, very big interest. And by the way, I've been talking about it for 4 months. I haven't seen one article that comes out and says, hey, by the way, here's how you can do it yourself for you. Still think there's a massive market there. I'm getting close to working on some solutions myself for that, but it's going to be the thing. So the second part of that is, if you can't send it to someone else, then what you're going to do is, because most of the big systems aren't run by data centers in some building that they control, they're offloading that responsibility and the cost of that to Microsoft or Amazon by buying virtual systems in AWS for Amazon or Azure for Microsoft. So they're offloading those things to create virtual machines and virtual containerized spaces where the storage and processing and everything else doesn't mix with anything else. This is pretty known. We've been doing this for 20 years. That part's pretty obvious.
Isn't that an AWS problem? I mean, is that an Amazon hosting problem? Or does Amazon say, you put it up there and you better hire engineers to protect it yourself? I'm a layman. I don't understand.
No. You basically, okay, so there's multiple tiers, right? So literally there is criminal justice data in some of these external systems because that's so locked down, okay? There's also personal information, medical information, your company information, your banking information. All this stuff is offloaded into all these various spaces. That's really secure, encrypted, going to and coming from those spaces, encrypted inside those spaces. It's actually really, really pretty, is secure.
And is that security created by AWS or whoever's using their
both, right? There's multiple layers of processing, multiple layers of security, multiple layers of human and automated checks that go into all of that. So yeah, that's pretty good. But that's not what he's really saying. What Eric Schmidt is saying is, you can use ChatGPT to extract and process information you never thought of. You could say, okay, if you didn't know where, I don't know, Bobby Sue, whatever, where does she live? You can just start following her Instagram, connecting to that, processing everything. Usually people live in a general geographical area, just as an example. I mean, because I know we've talked about kind of this in the past. You can take pictures and say, hey, AI, where was that picture taken? Well, there's no tags on it. Where's the most likely place it was? Look at the kind of trees, the kind of day, blah, 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 the vehicles, the signs, and within about 10 pictures or so, AI can tell you exactly what location that was in. Okay, so now you have the location. So then you start saying, well, who is Bobby Sue? Where is she? Well, she's probably lives in this area. So, you know what I mean? You can just start using it to go deep diving on all kinds of crazy things. And you can do that for your kids. You can do that for you. You can do that for your business. You can do that for a company. You can start finding, let's say you want to go after a pool company. You want a pool company and you want to go into the area where I live and say, I want to create a pool company and I want to take over all the business. Well, you can just Google search, find every house that has a pool and create a giant list of them. So these are good actors' perspectives, but you could then turn it the other way around and say, okay, so of all these pool owners, let's send them a survey and find out who their pool company is. And then let's go to the Better Business Bureau and start spamming them and saying these guys are bad. And because you can get the name of the homeowner and their address, and you can start saying this guy, you could say you're acting as that guy who's a customer, and send in a bad report to the Better Business Bureau, which isn't true. Bullcrap.
Well, that's
I'm just using simple idea because I can go down the deep, dark hole. I don't want to do that, but you totally can start to imagine harmful perspectives that you wouldn't assume would be even valid or true, which could be then almost untraceable, untrackable, and overwhelmingly bad.
I remember like I do to help businesses with their online marketing. And I remember the year, because I would always see where traffic was coming from to a website. All of a sudden, boom, all this traffic from Ukraine, from all these different countries,
from Uzbekistan and Tajikistan,
and just like they have full
Malaysia,
farms that are probably embedded with various, bad actors can go all the way to the top of whatever. And like we don't even understand the mindset that they must have is, and just imagine a pool of room of people with a certain mindset. Yeah, they can come up with things that you'll only know after the fact. And it's a constant struggle. But it's really interesting. But basically with analytics, you can see that immediately. So, you can, if you have a team that's their job. And hopefully, now that AI has been, JD Vance said it's going to be important. Hopefully each country, or especially America, if we want to be the AI leader, gets together some kind of elite team that can go down the rabbit hole and find all these bad actors and start understanding them better and seeing what they're doing. Because that would be such a great value to every business that resides in that country, and I would imagine that it would be possible. And they're spending all this money on all this other garbage. They might as well spend something on that would actually be beneficial.
Yep. We got about 8 minutes left before I have to go. I think Survey Guy has pinged his hand a whole bunch of time, but let's hear from him.
Survey Man, please share with us what you want to say.
Yeah, that's true. I believe in transparency. Even if it's negatively affects me, I'm good with it because it'll positively affect everyone.
Well, when you say there's no transparency, what do you mean, in the coding or something, or you're not? Yeah, but so in other words, there's no receipts. We got it for, they don't really take you to the page that shows. Well, that should be done for sure, because otherwise, well, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So let's and then Woj, let me get into the next story and then we'll get to you. So ChatGPT lower than expected energy use. This is from TechCrunch. A new study shows that ChatGPT uses less energy than anticipated, challenging previous concerns about AI's energy consumption. This alleviates concerns about AI contributing significantly to energy demand and destroying all things on Earth. I added that. Encourage broader AI adoption without guilt over environmental impact. Makes AI a more viable option for businesses concerned about sustainability in their local worldwide ecosystem. And it could lead to more AI solutions in operations without the concern of environmental costs, like destroying all the aquifers and using all the water to cool things down. Reassesses the environmental narrative around AI, potentially affecting policy and investment in AI tech. That is huge. And this might lead to a evaluation of how energy efficiency is considered in AI development. One thing I'd like to say before I get to you, Andy, is, like the way the news cycle is if it bleeds, it leads, clickbait. And so always, if there's a new thing coming out, it is going to go to the worst possible outcome to get as much noise as possible. And so, and it's not great. That's not great for the mental health of I mean, you have a young child and they start hearing all these things. Oh no, AI is going to take away whatever. We need to find another paradigm.
Yeah, well, I think that fear mongering is, again, just fear mongering. The problem is you don't know if it's true or not until you try or ask for some kind of uh, trusted source. And I think that AI is going to cause that particular thing to be finding a trusted source to be even more and more and more challenging. It's one of the reasons why I put this whole thing together, why John and I do this every single day, so that we can be a trusted source. We can say, well, I think X or I think Y or I don't know or whatever. So you've heard us over and over and over again. We're not the quote unquote experts of everything, but we are having our pulse on our fingers on the pulse of it every day. And that's why you should come every single day. Otherwise, you're going to start to lose your mind. You're not sure if what's being said can be trusted or not. You won't have any perspective from anybody you trust, but John and I are here so that you can start to trust us. And that's one of the reasons why we put this whole thing together, so that we can be some kind of voice that you can go, at least, well, Andy thinks maybe, but it's not, or Andy or John and Andy think it's both total BS. So I'm not really going to put a lot of stock in it. But anyway, I think that's about it for me. Thank you all for joining, and join the Startup Circle. Make sure you copy all of us, follow all of us, connect with each other. And hey, if you're interested in being a speaker or interested in getting someone to talk or whatever, grab the mic, come up, do that. We love talking to you guys. And the only reason we're talking to us is because Woj is like the only one. I see Amy raise her hand. So hi, Amy. Otherwise, we really want to talk to you guys more than we want to talk to each other, but we're going to fill the hour with whatever you got. So anyway, thanks again for everyone. And thanks, John. Appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic day, and I'll be dropping off here in a few minutes.
Excellent. Have a great day. I was going to end the show with the theme song, but I'm not sure if that's so wise. But Amy, let's go to you first and see what question you have, and then to you, Woj.
Well, last thing, when you say a digital twin, you're talking about your own persona where you answer people in your voice, your own digital robot, virtual. Give me a little more information.
Do you have a theme park currently, or is this all work in progress? I mean, there's a lot of very good developers. Number one, X is a great community, and you can just start to ask questions. Everybody gets to kind of know each other, so your reputation is very
All right,
important.
John, I'm
Got
out.
to make sure
Go
that
ahead,
you
turn off the
show up
stream.
and do what you say you're going to do. Andy's on his way out. Andy, do you have a couple things you want to say